Hello everyone, Shinto Bean here, and in this video I'll be introducing my favorite board game of all time, which has now been turned into a digital game as well. It's available on Steam. This game is called Everdell. It's a really beautiful game, amazing artwork, and I really just like the theme of nature. You're building a city, and the goal of the game is to create the city that is worth the most victory points by the end of the match. And your city is made up of these cards, which are either critters or constructions. And you can play with typically 2 to 4 players. The game has several expansions, and so I've played a few dozen times with the physical version, and I just by accident happened to find this digital one yesterday. It just came out yesterday on Steam. So it's pretty nice to see, and it looks like they've done a really good job of adapting it into the video game. If we go into the settings here, you can actually look at the rules of the game in detail. If you go to the gameplay tab, you can check out the rule book. So there's just an overview of the game, what you're trying to do, what the turns consist of. The setup in the physical game can take a very long time, like maybe 30 minutes or so, even if you know what you're doing. So it's a pretty complex game, and it takes a little bit to get into. That's how to play. So in your turn, you place a worker, or the workers can go to these different locations, which have different effects. And you've got different events which can give you victory points. You also got different ways to gain resources and also earn more points as well. So you also play cards on your turn, and there are either critters or constructions. There are 5 different card types, different categories. And then, just more information on drawing cards and whatnot. The game progresses through the seasons. At the end of each season, there is a different effect that takes place. And then the end game, whoever has the most points wins. But there are lots of different ways to get points. And here we got the card index with all the cards in the game. You got your critters here, and you can actually zoom in on every card. You can see the artwork, all the information on there. So that's very nice, very nicely done. There's a lot of text on some of these cards, so it does again take some time to actually figure out what everything does and how they interact with each other. These are the constructions, the little buildings that you can create. Each one pairs with a critter, actually, so there is an equal number of constructions and critters in the game. But yeah, it's really nice. You can they've done a good job of kind of simplifying the rule book for this digital version. So in this video, I will play just through the tutorial a little bit, just to show you kind of what it looks like and show you the basics of the game. And yeah, we'll see what happens. This is the first time I've played the tutorial, so not exactly sure how they're going to do everything, but this is the field here, and we got our starting hand. Welcome to the wondrous world of Everdell, underneath the shelter of the towering Evertree, a land of mossy hollows and meandering, and I wasn't able to finish reading that, but yeah. So you start the game with 2 workers. The workers can go to the different locations there, so we got a little squirrel in the bottom corner. You have 3 possible actions that you can do on each of your turns. So first we'll just send this worker over here and get some twigs. That location allows us to get 3 twigs, which we can use to create constructions. So the resources are there in the bottom right hand side. And we do need 1 more resin to build a farm here. Building that farm will allow us to get a berry, which we can then use to purchase a critter. So we'll send the worker over to that resin location, get 2 resin. It'll give us enough to build the farm, and we'll just throw that into our city. And there you can see we get 1 berry, which is added to the collection. Those green production buildings, or production cards, trigger an effect immediately when played, as well as at the end of certain seasons as well. So again, here you can see sort of the effect that takes place when each season ends. Towards the beginning, the seasons last a pretty short time because you have limited resources and you can't do much, but as you gain more resources and cards throughout the game, the seasons kind of get longer and longer. So at the end you have there's just so many different options. So that's kind of the one danger of this game, is when you're playing with people who have trouble making decisions, you can end up waiting a very long time until your turn comes around again. But yeah, we just ended the first season here, I think, or we got another berry from the farm. Now we can use those berries to play this little barge toad into the city, and that's another green card, so we immediately gain 2 twigs for each farm in the city. And yeah, so we want to play this school, which costs 2 twigs and 2 resin, so we still need just 1 more resin. So go ahead and place another worker, go to the spot with the 2 resin there, and now we can play that farm into the city. This is a purple card, which the purple cards just give you more victory points at the end. They don't have anything that really helps you to gain resources or anything. But yeah, the school combos with the teacher there. So if we have a school, we can play the teacher for free. We don't have to pay the berry cost. It's just once per construction. And then the teacher is a green card, which will give us an effect. But that's it for the first tutorial there. We're going to continue into the next one to just see a little bit more how the game plays out. This time we're actually playing against an AI, Sheldon, the turtle. So, we get 5 cards in our hand to start off with, and now we have these little forest locations which actually have generally have better resources that you can gain, but only 1 worker can be placed there in total. So when you're playing against other people, if the other player gets the first turn, they can take one of those forest locations and sort of deny you the ability to go there. So that's kind of the interactive part of this game. When you're playing with people, is sometimes they'll take the card you want, or they'll take the spot that you want with their worker. So there's a little bit of tug of war there. You have to. That's what can make the decision making a little bit difficult. Is there's so many different places you can go, but you have to prioritize which one is the most important one. So first, on our turn here, we'll get that forest location, which gives us 3 berries. 3 berries is it's a lot of berries. And then we're just following the tutorial here, so it's okay, build a wanderer, which can allow us to draw 3 cards. Maximum hand size is 8 cards, so you can never have more than 8 cards. You can't draw more than 8. One thing about this game, I played just one-on-one against the AI, and it feels a little bit rushed, basically because the AI makes their decisions instantaneously. So normally when you're playing against humans, you have to wait for them to take their turn. And while they're doing that, you can sort of plan ahead and think of what you want to do next, and also make a plan B and plan C in case your opponent does what you want to do. So that also gives you time to sort of think over your options. But when you're playing against the AI's turn just ends immediately, so you end up spending most of the time on your turn, and it's just a little more difficult. Here we're just visiting one location, discarding our entire hand to gain some resources, which will allow us to play some new cards. So pebbles are kind of the hardest resources to get, so I'm gonna grab some of those here. And you can see Sheldon has just 1 farm in his city at the moment. So it just goes back and forth. You can only do 1 action per turn, so either place a worker or play a card. And that also makes it a little tricky, because be well, do you want to use your worker to visit a place to deny your opponent that spot? You have to take the good places while they're still available. So you might want to play a card in your hand, but then the more important thing is to play the worker first. Anyway, yeah, the tutorial is just here telling us about the different types of cards. We got the blue cards, which have effects that trigger throughout the game in response to something else. The red cards create a new location that your worker can visit, like that lookout there. And then we're just moving through the season, getting the workers back, getting some resources, and in order to complete this tutorial, I think it's going to pop up in a little bit, you have to get one of every type of card in your city. So there's 5 different types. And you just play the worker on the card in the AI's city, which is the inn, which allows us to play one card from the meadow here for cheaper. So yeah, usually there's the deck of cards that you can draw from, and those are face down, but there's also the meadow, which consists of 8 face-up cards. So you can always play cards straight from the meadow into your city if you have enough resources. So just played a little shop there. Got another berry from that. And there we go. We now have the goal unlocked, so just to complete the tutorial, you have to get one of each card. So right now I have a red, a green, and a brown. So we just need a blue. There's the clock tower, that's a blue card. And then a purple card. And then we can complete that tutorial. So in order to do that, we'll have to gain some resources first. So we'll place our little squirrel workers. I'm aiming for the clock tower there. It's actually a really good card. So we can throw our... Oh, I actually just had enough resources already, so build that one there. We will have to move on to the next season, though, I think. I have one worker remaining, and that's a purple card there. The Evertree, it's actually the best, one of the best cards, also the most expensive one in the game to construct. So go ahead and place that worker over on that spot to get 2 resin, 1 twig. Now we can prepare for the next season, at which point the clock tower activates. And that will allow us to gain the resources from one of those workers before returning it back to our city. So it's actually a really good effect. So you can use that to gain a lot more resources that will help us to build the final card that we need to complete this tutorial. So I'm going to go with that one, get the 3 twigs. So we now have 4 twigs, 2 resin, no pebbles, and 2 berries. Also at the end of this season we get to take 2 meadow cards into the hand. Not into our city, but into our hand. So just taking the Evertree and the resin refinery there. Whenever you take cards or play cards from the center of from the meadow, they get replaced. So there are always 8 cards there, but you can sort of, sometimes you want to just take cards from the meadow in order to get new cards out there. So maybe you'll have a better option for something to play. So there's the Architect there. That's another purple card that we could play in order to complete this tutorial. So might be a good one to aim for. We'll just throw the worker there, get 3 berries, and that gives us enough to get the Architect. And there's another purple card that just appeared. So yeah, there's a lot more. If you look around the board, there's actually some parts of it still missing because this is a tutorial. Usually there's more stuff up here, which you can, more places to visit with your workers. But yeah, that becomes available in the whole game. That's the AI city. They've got a king, a shopkeeper, a harvester, a farm, and an inn in their city. And in my city we got the lookout and the wanderer, which combos with that. And then we have the clock tower and yeah, the clock tower there. And the general store. So we have 4 different colors there, and if we just get this purple one, then we'll tutorial is complete. So there we go. We have finished this one. And it also tells you the victory points there. We got 11 points versus the AI's 10 points. Anyway, we'll head back to the main menu here. So yeah, as for the other sort of options, we got local play, we got little challenges. These are, I think, mostly just solo things to do. The challenges are unique to this digital game, I think. We didn't have these in the physical game, but it looks interesting. I don't actually have any idea what they look like yet, but that'll be fun to try out. Solo play against the AI, you can have up to 3 different AI to play against. You also got easy, medium, and hard mode. Pass and play, I don't really know about. So yeah, but I think it's more of sort of a passive, or at least long term. You can just take your turn and just wait. I don't know. I actually have no idea. but yeah, and then we got more challenges there. Online play, haven't set that up, so I can't really do that. But you can play against other players. I'll have to try that out at some point. But yeah, again, they've done a really nice job. The music is nice and relaxing. The artwork that they've done specifically for this digital version is pretty nice in matching the theme. And it's the full game experience pretty much. Again, I do prefer the physical game just because, playing board games in person with your friends is a lot more fun, I think, than doing things online. But as far as board game adaptations go, I think, yeah, again, they've done a fine job. But let me know what you think. If you do play board games or card games with your friends in person, and if you do, what is your favorite game? Have you ever seen or heard of this game before? Again, it is a pretty complex game, so it's not for everyone. But for me personally, it's just really great. It kind of reminds me of these books that I used to read as a child. It was the Redwall series. These little woodland creatures go on adventures. I think they definitely took inspiration from that for the artwork. But yeah, fantastic game if you like strategy and getting resources and building cities and stuff. So yeah, that is Everdell for you. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.